They're all saving one, or most of the Hampshire fielders are saving one. Somerset need one run. It's Edwards to Hildreth. He's there and bowls Hildreth, and he gets the run away through the onside, and Somerset have won. They've won the Royal London One Day Cup.
Hello there, you're listening to Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. This is the Somerset Cricket Podcast. My name's Ian Shepherd. Joining me this evening, I've got Steve Tancock, Harry Everett, and the voice of cricket on BBC Radio Somerset, Anthony Gibson. We are recording this the Monday before the County Championship season is due to start on Thursday. And for those of you who haven't seen the email from Gordon Hollins, his YouTube video message that came through regarding the state of the outfield, which was very, very wet during the pre-season friendlies, which is quite understandable given, I think, the wettest March in 40-odd years. Is that right, Gibbo? You're a man of meteorological knowledge.
Absolutely spot on. We had over 100 millimetres here at Langport, which is quite wet, and I think there's probably even more in Taunton. But I was there this morning, and the outfield is still a bit wet because it was underwater. Part of it was underwater, the bit in front of the Colin Atkinson Pavilion on Friday and Saturday. But the players were out practising, so it's not that bad. And I'm reasonably confident, given the weather forecast, that we'll start on time on Thursday.
Yeah, Gordon said that they've spared no expense trying to get it ready. Scott Hawkins and his team have employed sort of heat lamps and extra water pumps to encourage grass growth and all this stuff that groundsmen... is it an art or a science? Who knows? A little bit of both. But yeah, I'm sure they'll be straining every sinew to get the ground ready for the Warwickshire game on Thursday. Right, where do we start then? I'd struggled to remember doing these sort of monthly over the winter, what we've talked about. One thing we haven't definitely talked about, because it was only announced a week or so ago, is Cameron Bancroft has signed for the first 4 championship games. Leading run scorer in Shield cricket this year, in the Sheffield Shield down in Australia over the winter. Does that mean that Tom Abell is potentially not 100% to be ready for Warwickshire on Thursday, or is it just an excellent overseas signing that wasn't finalised until the last minute? Harry's nodding. Have you got some inside information on Tom's fitness, Harry, or are you
I don't think he's going to play the first couple of games, to be honest with you. I'll be surprised. They talked about him maybe missing the first 4. I think it might be a bit more positive. I reckon Bancroft's in for 4 games. So Cam Bancroft comes in at 3. That helps the situation. Matt Henry's not arriving till May, so we've got Bancroft for April. If great situation, say in 2 or 3 games into the season, we can have Bancroft and Abell. Brilliant. That selection dilemma. It'd be awesome to have them both. But realistically, I don't think they'll play together. They're almost a like for like. Bancroft in for 4 games, and he was going to come to us in 2018, wasn't he? So it feels like full circle to eventually get him. After that,
I can't quite remember why he didn't come. What happened there?
His visa didn't come through, I think.
His visa didn't come through. Is that the visa he was trying to use down at B&Q?
Yeah, the sandpaper version of the visa, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some rumblings on social media about, whether we should be signing him. A few people have been quite vocal in that, he's a cheat, he's this, he's that, the other. But my position is he's done his time. He's served whatever ban the authorities deem fit for that particular offence.
And they did say, the Australian Cricket Board did say that he was acting under instructions.
Yeah,
from David Warner.
He was definitely the least
absolve him, but it's the lesser of the 2 crimes. He wasn't the architect of the Dastardly plan. He was merely the implementer of it.
He was just a keen bugger. He wanted to help everyone in the team. He was new in the side, desperate to please everyone and keep his spot by doing anything he can to keep everyone happy. I think. Mm-hmm. I felt sorry for him, to be honest, as daft as that might sound.
To bastardise an English phrase, I think if you're going to beat them, you need to join them. And every other county signing an Australian for the first 4 games.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Doing the same. So why shouldn't we? If he's available, obviously Conway's playing in the IPL and Matty Renshaw's not available, I don't think.
Renshaw was playing for Australia A last night. Australia A against New Zealand A scored 100.
Yeah, so he's fighting his way to get on the Ashes trip, I imagine, at the moment. So why not? And if you think of him in, if Abel wasn't there would be all the hand wringing about, we've got Lammonby, Bartlett, Banton's still not fit. You just can't win in this situation. So much as I'm in the mood to criticise quite a lot of the club at the moment, I don't think you can fault them on this particular move.
Yeah, the noises would definitely have been if Abel didn't play those 3 games. Oh, why didn't we sign another overseas? There must be a queue of Australian batsmen a mile long wanting to come over and play in English conditions ahead of the Ashes. Hurry, Kerr, what are you doing? Well, I think they've done the sensible thing, the pragmatic thing, and if Abel is fit ahead of schedule, then as you said, Harry, we've got that lovely selection dilemma. Are you trying? I've gone all blurry. I don't know why my camera does this sometimes.
It's a better look for you, mate, I thought.
Oh, thank you very much, Harry. How do I mute you?
Half a sip of cider and he goes all blurry. There you go.
Normally I have to sit next to you doing these. It's quite funny to look at you.
Oh, cheers then. You pay for your own bloody cider next time you come round. Yeah, I mean, I think we said all that needs to be said about that. He's a good player.
Well, I just feel a bit sorry for some of the young homegrown batsmen who won't get a chance to play in the team. No, Lewis Goldsworthy would be the obvious one. But it begs the question of why did they sign Andy Umeed as a sort of backup opener? And when they need an opening batsman, and they then probably go overseas. I don't know. I think it's perfectly logical in terms of wanting to win the county championship and making a good start, which is so important. But if I was Lewis Goldsworthy, I'd be pretty pissed off. I think.
I don't think he'd still play. I think it might be more.
Do you think so ahead of Bartlett? Well, if Goldsworthy isn't pissed off, then Bartlett will.
Bartlett might. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then they get to the county ground at 9:00 on Thursday, and it's dank and overcast, and you can't actually spot the pitch we're playing on from the rest of the outfield. And they might well go, "I'll carry the drinks. Fair enough. I'll wait till it improves a bit."
Limbering up from the Marcus Gothic Pavilion, and there might be one. I've just tweaked it, Sarge. I've just tweaked it. Best sit this one out.
Save the young lads for when the pitches are flat and they can boost their average better.
Yeah, I mean, it's professional sport, isn't it? I mean, with the greatest respect to everybody in that squad, the aim of Somerset County Cricket Club is to win matches and to win trophies. And if bringing in an overseas player, I think saying at the expense of a younger player is a little bit harsh because there's so much cricket over the summer. You're bound to get a chance sooner or later.
And you can actually, much as I hate having to argue with our esteemed commentator, you could flip it the other way and actually say none of them have made a persuasive case with weight of runs in the last couple of seasons that they should be in the side. They've all had.
No, I don't agree with that. Bartlett averaged 41.5 last season when he came into the side in the county championship. And he got 100 in the game against Warwickshire, and they're playing Warwickshire on Thursday. So if he is the unlucky one, I would feel pretty sorry for him. And Goldsworthy had a good season as well. He averaged 37.2. They both came on a long way last season as compared with the season before. And I think under normal circumstances they would both expect to be in the side, and probably Tom Banton as well. Banton's injured, so that's. But there's going to be 2 out of the 3 at least who are going to be disappointed every county championship match for as long as everybody else stays fit, which is a shame because they're.
And if Abel's fit, potentially 3 out of 3.
Yeah, quite.
Yeah, but that is it. That's the nature of the squad system, isn't it? 2 of those, 2 of the top 3 could get themselves injured, and then you're relying on that squad. So it's
I think that's going to be a theme this year. I think I was chatting to someone the other day and we worked out there's a 29, that might be an incorrect stat, but I think we tried to work out the actual players on the staff. And it's as high as I can remember in recent years, and a lot higher than a Gloucestershire, say, or other counties. And that is going to be a problem. There's about 7 or 8 seamers that people are going to be unhappy. There is going to be rest and rotation, but with quite a few ageing players and injuries and things going on, that's going to be healthy in the long run. It's just going to be in April when everyone wants to play. People are going to be annoyed.
But when 2 of your first choice seamers are Lewis and Josh, and both of them would have quite big question marks about fitness, early in the season, let alone the whole season. I'm going to say it again, Shep, as in baseball. If you think you've got enough pitchers, you sign another pitcher. If you think you've got enough seam bowlers, sign another seam bowler. And
9.5 minutes before you got that one in, Steve. That must be a record, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
only because
right.
we started talking about the batsmen, not the bowlers. I'd have been earlier if we'd gone the other way.
Well,
I just don't want us to go down the Nottinghamshire route of just buying players in and not bothering to develop our own youngsters. And if you do develop your own youngsters and then don't play them, then they'll go somewhere else. And again, you'll lose that sort of West Country core. Which I think is so important to the whole nature of Somerset cricket.
Couldn't agree more, Gibbo. But I think to be fair, every young player at Somerset does get a chance. I think the only one that I can possibly think of in recent years, Nathan Gilchrist, who has gone on to Kent and done really well, but with the best will in the world, if you look at the seam bowling attack that we had at the time he left, 2 Overtons, Davey, Gregory. Do we have Brooks then? Yeah, so it's going to be very difficult for a young seamer to break through into that attack. So I don't think we can necessarily fault him. I mean, you look at another guy left, Eddie Byram, was given numerous chances.
He had his chances. Yeah,
had his chances. Didn't really take them. I thought Adam Hose, another one.
Hose was maybe disposed of prematurely. I don't know.
Marchant Delania as well.
Does George fall into that category? George Bartlett. I'd like to see him stay, but if other people keep playing ahead of him, I could see him getting annoyed this year and wanting to move on. I obviously don't want him to, but he would fall into Adam Hose and Eddie Byram category.
He's better than Adam Hose and Eddie Byram.
Yeah.
Hopefully he proves it.
Well, I've actually got him in my starting 11 for.
So have I. Steve.
Should we just get that out of the way? Should we get it out of the way now? Starting 11th for Thursday. Go on, Steve. Seeing as you brought it up, what's your 11th for Thursday?
Well, I'm going to start with the curveball. Steve Davis, number 1.
Oh, your value in pre-season runs against Glamorgan with a 40-yard boundary.
He did cream it to the 40-yard boundary, to be fair.
I know, but and again, I am being really harsh here, but if I'm picking what I think is the side most likely to beat Warwickshire, I would have him opening the batting, personally. Okay. And I can see the value in playing him as an opener this season, because that's where he started, remember, and he probably isn't going to keep very much this year, so he's either going to have to do that or he's going to be a bit part player. So Davies, Dixon, Bancroft, TKC, Bartlett at 5, Rue, Gregory, Overton, Davey.
Yeah.
Then I will have a spinner, and I'm not close enough to it to know whether Leachy is going to be available or whether your hero plays, because obviously that might change the order slightly. And then Peter Siddle, who I saw was drinking coffee in Taunton over the weekend, so he's definitely around.
Leach was there this morning. Jack Leach was there this morning, fielding practice.
I'd be very surprised if he didn't play, given the time that's elapsed since the New Zealand tour finished. I mean, he went out to Abu Dhabi with the guys, but by all accounts he didn't feature, but he was there, sort of mentoring young Shoaib Bashir.
Yeah, he wasn't meant to be out there, but just sort of went and got involved.
Fair play to him. What could possibly have possessed the man to leave rainy old England and go off to Abu Dhabi for a fortnight? The man must be mad.
2 days after getting back from a few months in New Zealand, though, fair play. It was literally
that's true, I suppose.
Straight in, straight out.
He opened his curtains the first morning, looked out, saw it pissing it down.
1 day's enough here,
yeah, it's Jack here, mate. Yeah, you got an extra seat on the plate. Lovely, I see it. Yeah, meet you at the ground. Lovely, bye. Yeah.
Interesting point that Steve makes about Steve Davis. I was pondering that as well. I don't think he will play. I think
I don't. But that's what I would like to see.
I think Lammonby will open with Dixon, and for the rest of it, I agree with your 11. It's and I think
we've all assumed that Abel's not going to play, so
I don't think there's any way he's going to play. And Tom Banton isn't available either, so I think you can rule those two out. And the only question really is whether Bartlett plays or Goldsworthy as for that middle order position.
Yeah,
they could give Davies the gloves and play James Rue as a specialist batsman. That's another possibility.
They won't, because the powers that be at Lord's Towers, I suspect, will have already been saying they want him to keep as much as possible in first-class cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Harry?
Yeah, I'm slightly different. I've gone Dixon, Lammers, Bancroft option instead of Abel. I've gone Goldsworthy at 4. TKC probably at 5 and Brew at 6. The middle order could almost be in any order. Gregory, still unsure how fit he is to bowl. Obviously, we'd love to see him bowl, but I don't think he's going to bowl as long spells this year, realistically. So he'd be in, then Overton, Siddle, probably Davey ahead of Brooks, I've gone, and then Leach, if, presuming Leach is playing.
Yeah. So I've gone, well, if Abel's fit, I've gone Dixon, Bancroft, Abel as the top 3. If Abel's not fit, I've got Dixon, Lammonby, Bancroft as the top 3. And then I've got Bartlett, TKC, whichever way around you want those two. And then Rue, Gregory, Davey, Overton, Siddle and Leach.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing I need to jump in here before we go. We're going to have to come up with a Somerset term for Bazball, because I don't want Somerset playing Bazball. But I want, if we're going to play, as a lot of counties seem to be making noises, this sort of...
Tresball?
Tresball. Oh, I love that.
There we go. Is that the name of the pod sorted?
Cider Ball has been... it might have been Polly Rhodes that started that one on Twitter, or maybe she just...
I think you should do one of your Twitter polls, but I like Tresball.
Oh, if we do a Twitter poll, it'll end up being called Bloody Wyvern Ball. We can't trust Twitter polls. So something that's not cider ball.
Yeah, that sounds a bit too close to cider bad, doesn't it?
TCB
might dock us points just for calling it that.
I mean, if we were, really finicky about the rules and, declared at inopportune times, we could call it Rosy Ball.
Or Care Ball.
Care Ball. Sounds a bit scouse, that. No offence, Steve.
Yeah.
Care Ball.
Care Ball?
I think it's going to happen anyway. I think they'll play exactly like they did last season.
Yeah.
Hopefully with a bit more success. Well, I can't. You look at that batting. Tom Kohler-Cadmore might go out and give it a bit of a whack, and George Bartlett's an attacking player, and Tom Lammonby, I hope, will be given his head to play his natural game instead of scratching around at the crease and leaving everything he possibly can outside the off stump. But I don't see it. There was no suggestion when Jason Kerr was asked that in the pre-season press conference. He basically said, "We're going to carry on the way we've done before, and we're not going to be sucked in to going to play over-aggressive cricket."
But even Sean Dixon, I thought Sean Dixon would come in and be a boring traditional opener. I mean, we shouldn't judge against university students in March and pre-season, but a run a ball 80-odd and he whacked a few sixes straight into the sight screen, and that slightly surprised me. I don't think he'd play like that.
No.
I think you answered your own question there, Harry.
I can't.
With it being against the students.
Can't make any comment.
No, he's very good. I watched him a few times for Kent and Durham last couple of seasons, and a very impressive player. I think he's an underrated signing. Everyone's talking about TKC because Kohler-Cadmore wasn't playing his franchises, but I'm almost equally, if not more, excited to have a solid opener, because we've had Imam, we've had Murali VJ, Dean Elgar. I think in back over the years, how many overseas we've had.
Devon Conway. Devon
Conway was the best.
Yeah, but just to have someone for the whole season who's an experienced opener who's played around the championship and scored runs, and to have a double 100 is ideal.
Yeah. I think absolute credit needs to go to.
He got triple 100, didn't he, for Kent?
Was it triple? Was it? I remember him back for ages.
I'll bet a penny to a pound that was at Beckenham.
I can't remember, but
I just remember it being a ridiculous run of 600, played 700 or something like that.
He got 318, I think.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the powers that be, because they have recruited pretty much spot on in every area that we needed. I mean, we've got TKC in to replace, I suppose you could say he's replacing Hildreth and Rousseau, because if you look at the runs he scored in franchise cricket over the winter, he's got to be on a par with what Riley did.
He's got the highest score in the Abu Dhabi T10.
Oh, come on! Get in
Such
there!
an enormous fan.
How many minutes until Gibbo mentions the T10? That's 25 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did he get? He got 92, I think, wasn't it? In
something
30
like that.
balls or something. Anyway, it's the highest score in the Abu Dhabi T10. Which I'm ashamed to say I didn't watch this winter.
Oh, Gibbo. Well, I'd rather have the high score in the Abu Dhabi T10 and not have it, if that makes sense, to denigrate that competition. Who else we've got? Obviously, we've got Matt Henry coming in, 11th of May, I think he arrives, and Peter Siddle. We were all saying over the winter, seam bowling looks a bit fragile. Gregory and Davey being a bit injury prone, so they've done that. I know it seems like a long time off, but I think we need to get the September recruitment spot on as well, which is a little bit more difficult, but we can cross that bridge when we come to it. So in terms of ins and outs, I think it's it's a
one you haven't mentioned, I don't know if you've deliberately forgotten. Interesting. I think Steve said
you interrupted, Harry, but go on.
Oh yeah. Well, I just thought it was interesting. Steve said earlier about your mate coming in. I presume meaning Rolf van der Merwe.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Shoaib Bashir might be ahead of Van der Merwe in the spin pecking order. Hard to judge yet. I think he's quite inexperienced and quite an exciting future player. Maybe more of a white ball spinner, but I don't know if Rodolph is going to be.
It's a difficult one with him. I think if I was playing two spinners, I'd play Leach and Bashir. But if I had to play one spinner instead of Leach, I'd play Van der Merwe.
For the control,
bit more control. You obviously not necessarily saying it's hampered us, because I think Roloff and Jack bowled really well at Surrey. Was it Surrey last year? I think, or maybe the year before. I think Roloff got 4, 5, and Jack got a few as well. But just that variation in the attack, off spin and left armour, and not having the young guy taking all that pressure of being the sole spinner, and also having, can't be a better mentor than Jack Leach to have stood at mid off while you're bowling. So, yeah. But if it is a solo spin job, I'd go for the experience and nous of the greatest player to ever strapped on a pair of pads.
I think just quickly, Shep, going back to what you said about September recruitment, that will become a lot easier if we get off to a good start and are there or thereabouts come that time of the year. But if we're not, it becomes a lot harder. You could. I haven't even looked that far ahead to the international fixtures, but you can foresee a place where one of the names that we've either got now or mentioned as sort of previous alumni of the club might think that's worth coming back for, or I can come back and help there. Whereas if we're just sitting 6th with nowhere to go, that's probably realistically not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I think the stars have aligned a little bit better for us this year to not get off to such a terrible start. Because I remember sitting in absolute despair the night before the first game of the season against Hampshire last year, where we only had 11 players to pick from who played in Championship cricket.
Yeah, we were getting our whites ready, weren't we? I think I remember that podcast.
Overton one was rested, Leach was rested. I think
Gregory got COVID.
Yeah, Bartlett did his shoulder, was it? Banton had done his finger again, I think.
Was it Ned Leonard and Casey Aldridge opened the bowling, didn't they?
Something like that, yeah. I think Tractor was on first change. That was how bad it was. Yeah. All things being well, we should hopefully outperform that. Yeah.
Well, we also got to think what Warwickshire are going to turn up, because they went from heroes to zero virtually last year, didn't they?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think Liam Norwell's going to be if he's fit, Liam Norwell's going to be a handful.
Yeah.
On a early season pitch. Good bowler.
Yeah, so they got Norwell, they got Wokes,
Hannon Dolby.
Yeah, Hannon Dolby. So
Hannon Dolby is another one. Yeah,
he worries me.
Very good on a greenish pitch.
Him and Sam Hain always do very well against Somerset. I seem to find that. I don't quite know why. It's just certain players.
So maybe we need to play Jack Brooks, because he had that virtuoso half an hour, 3/4 an hour after tea last year. Didn't you remember? Yeah. Yeah, that was very entertaining. I was on a second or third.
We need to get Matt Renshaw back to remind them to do that.
Yeah.
George Bartlett got 100 in the second innings against Warwickshire, so I think he'll pretty fed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going out to Edgbaston for that game. It was a good game of cricket, actually, in September last
You
year.
were lucky to get away with it.
Yeah.
Lucky to get away with it.
Had everything.
They could easy. If Will Rhodes hadn't played a really stupid shot when he didn't need to, they could chase down that 380 or whatever it was, because our bowling was not good. It really was not.
I was chatting to Jack Brooks down at Fine Leg in the Eric Holly stand, and then suddenly he went up the other end, having a very boring pass. We played, nothing happened, and suddenly next day, rather than just been chatting to him, he just went and got those shoe wickets. He suddenly woke the game up again.
The LBW was a bit dodgy as well.
Yes, was that Hayne? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
They've even got that Manraj Yohao, this young lad. He didn't play very much, but he's a very exciting prospect. And they've got a lot of options, Warwickshire. I think they'll do.
There was a tough side to beat, Warwickshire.
And Danny Briggs, he bowled pretty poorly that game last year, I seem to remember.
I remember he had a good bowl before lunch the first day, didn't he? Because Renshaw and Lammerby was smashing it everywhere. And
Bartlett then smashed him everywhere later on.
Everybody was getting taken to the cleaners. I think Briggs was on the bowl by about 11:45.
Oh, but they had the other spinner, didn't they? The Indian lad, off spinner. Oh, what's his name? Batted 7 or 8. Played Test cricket for India. What's his name? Come on, Anthony, you should know his name. Commentate on him.
He couldn't see. He was down at Fine Leg.
No, I wasn't. This was at Edgbaston.
Oh, Edgbaston.
What was his name? You know what I mean? He played for India when Zach Crawley played in that winter and whacked a few.
Yeah. No, I can't remember.
Oh, right.
It'll come to me in a minute.
Right, do let us know, Harry. Right, should we have some good news? Couldn't believe this when I had the email, but always look on the bright side of life. Has been shortlisted Best Cricket Podcast at the Sports Podcast Awards 2023. Well done, us.
Yeah.
Not quite sure how we've managed to do that, but, you know.
Giant Yadav. You can carry on now.
Giant Yadav.
You can carry on.
Well done, us. But, yeah, we need... it's done on the public vote, so I'm going to quickly mention this, and I'm going to pause the podcast for 5 minutes while all our listeners go off and vote, and then we're going to resume. So what you need to do... if you're on Twitter, just go to our Twitter profile at Somerset Podcast. It's a pinned tweet on there with what you need to do. It's basically you just need to go to the website, quickly create an account, and then vote for us. If you aren't on the Twitter, you need to go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com. If you haven't got an account, you can just click login in the top right-hand corner, and then click create account, and then find your way to the cricket category at the 2023 awards. Click on our little link. We're in the bottom right hand corner, and vote for us. And that's all you need to do. Voting closes on the 6th of April. So that's that's the first day of the Warwickshire game. I'm not sure if that's midnight the night before or midnight that day, but I'm sure Harry will be able to repeat that on the live stream probably once every 10 minutes would be all right. And are you allowed to say that on BBC Radio Somerset, Anthony?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Oh, happy days. Great stuff. You could all retweet that at the appropriate times. That'd be fantastic.
You've been walking around with a T-shirt saying "Vote for us" on Thursday, like the tractor driver personalised T-shirt.
I can't get there Thursday. I'm there Friday.
Ah, bit late by then.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Ask tractor driver. Say, can you not wear one of your normal shirts first game of the season? Can you vote for the Side Live podcast?
Has Tractor got a normal shirt? They've all got his face on, which is if you didn't know Tractor, you'd kind of imagine that was sort of the height of vanity, but wandering around with your own face on. But not for dear old Tractor. It's not. Yeah, so please vote for us. Michael Vaughan's got a podcast on there. I don't know why. Just as part of me, just really wants to just finish higher than Michael Vaughan. Can't for the life of me think why, but anyway, tick that one off the list. What else we got to talk about? Oh, the state of the outfield. Don't know if you have caught up with the video message that came up from Gordon Hollins in the members' email. I got it about 10 minutes before this started, so I kind of watched a bit of it. Basically, what's happening with the outfield is they looked to rearrange the game, or they made an early feelers, put some feelers out about relocating the game. I'm not sure if that meant they would go and play it at an outground or switch it to Edgbaston, but now they're definitely not doing that. But they are moving heaven and earth to try and get the outfield dry. They've got heat lamps and all sorts of water pumps and everything. They spared no expense trying to get that ready. And it shows that Scott Hawkins and his team are working all the hours God sends to try and get that one ready. What else did he say? Oh, we got the little in-ear radios for the live stream. They're not going to be there for the first game, but probably for the second one. Is that just a live stream, Harry, or can we get Gibbo on there as well?
Don't ask me, Chet. Don't stitch me up here. I've not made a decision. If I could segue just back on your last point, will I quickly about the subject? Yeah. Made me laugh. Gloucestershire had to send their bowlers to the Surrey marquee in order to have pre-season bowling, because poor old Gloucestershire had even worse pre-season in Somerset. The 3-day game last weekend became a 2-day game, then didn't happen at all. So they went and used Surrey's marquee to have a bit of outdoor grass bowling.
I don't understand all this, because speaking of Surrey, Mark Church has been playing a shot every morning all through the winter, through wind, rain and shine there. So
the last 3 years since lockdown, hasn't it?
Yeah, but through the winter with his bobble hat on and whatever, and it's been sleeting, snowing, hailing, and he doesn't seem to have any problem with the pitch, so I don't get what's wrong.
You'll have to ask him, Gibbo, does he do them all in one go? Like, does he spend like 4 or 5 hours one day doing about 200 or 300, or does he religiously get up every morning and...
I don't know, I'll ask him. Yeah.
It's a monumental effort.
It's a pretty good effort,
the organisation of making sure, fair play, and I think so many of us see it on our Twitter, while you're in sleep focus or whatever, and it cheers you up every morning to see that being done. So, I mean, it's only in England could you have that one sort of... Where does genius end and eccentricity begin, Anthony? That's probably...
Well, he's played some nice shots as well. I particularly like the punch through the offside. I mean, he's not a bad cricketer, Mark Church. He played for Durham University. Alongside some other good players, so he knows what he's doing, and it shows. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It sums it up. I was in a random village pub near North Malton on Exmoor the other night, and someone was coming up to me and saying, "Oh, do you know Mark Church, the guy's been doing these videos all winter?" And I'll be honest, I didn't realise he was still doing them. I just remember doing them in lockdown, and that feels like, was that 3 years ago now?
That was a full production, though. That was like with the garden chair was batting and got caught behind and all that. I mean, it's
sure
those
he's not
glorious
recycling
days
them?
of 2020.
Yeah, I haven't checked if he's recycled, actually. Someone would have checked. That's a Dan Kingdom job.
Dan, yeah.
That's your name.
Dan will have all the stats for when he's back.
When you get around to listening, Dan, I need you to work out, go through some sort of forensic video analysis of Mark Church's timeline to see if all these are original. Right, what else did he say? We've avoided controversy about the radios. Bar in the Somerset stand flooded. Unfortunately, that's out for the foreseeable future. One interesting point, though, this is the last thing I caught before I had to jump on and record this, is they may close the Somerset stand on days 3 and 4 of a county game if there aren't sufficient, I think it was if there aren't sufficient people in the ground, basically to cut down on stewarding costs. Obviously, for every stand you've got open in the game, in the ground, I presume you have to have a minimum amount of stewards there. So, I mean, I know.
Well, give us plenty of commentary points to choose from.
Would you be allowed in there without a steward, Gibbo?
Well, we were there during lockdown back in 2020 and 2021. We commentated from the Yeovil Suite in 2020, the Western Supermare Suite.
Not the Somerset stand.
The
Somerset stand, not the Trescothic stand.
Oh,
not
sorry,
the Trescothic Pavilion.
Formerly called the Somerset Pavilion.
Oh, that's no good. No,
the old green seats that I used to always call them the green seats, and now they're white. It doesn't seem quite right.
It used to be called the Somerset Pavilion. That's the the Somerset stand wouldn't be much better than, so it would be a little bit higher up, I suppose.
You go there.
I mean, have you not got enough influence to get in touch with somebody at Pegasus Court and just ask if you could, you and whichever regional commentator is down, could sort of sit on their balcony for 4 days or an evening?
Yeah, it'd be quite nice. Yeah, nice in the morning with the sun coming up.
Have we had official confirmation about the permanence or whatever of Gibbo's commentary cabin?
I better not. There's been great to-dos going on, but we're hoping for better things. Let's put it that way. We've been promised better things.
Oh, we've been promised better things at Somerset for as long as I can remember. But anyway, let's move it on. They could just put another portal cabin on top of it. At least then you'd be a bit further up. You see it all the time on building sites.
We did have it. When did we have a two-tiered? We did have a two-tiered.
That was 2015 when they were building the Trescothic Pavilion.
Yeah,
2015.
it was the other way around with yours, wasn't it?
A double-decker, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
double-decker.
Press box.
We were on the ground. Commentary was on the ground floor then, next to the scorers with the press up above. So that wasn't great either.
Listener, if you could kind of see the malaise that's just come over Gibbo's face as he's just realised that another season of looking expression into the sun.
Yeah, wistful expression across his face there, everyone.
Right, we've done Gordon's update. What else have we got? We've done Tom Abel fit. We've done State of the Outfield. We've done the Warwickshire 11 for Thursday.
What about listeners' questions? There was one from Mike Unwin. Mike Unwin asked about would Somerset win the second 11 championship this season? Which
yes, Mike.
I think so.
Hell of a squad.
If you look at how many really good players are going to be playing for the second, they blooming well ought to.
It's like the One Day Cup, isn't it? I thought we should have cleaned up in the One Day Cup last year when the names we had on paper massively underwhelming until that Warwickshire game when Rue and Goldsworthy put on that partnership at Edgbaston. A lot of links back to Warwickshire here, but yeah, the second 11 should be ridiculously strong, but you never quite know.
Okay.
The problem with second 11 cricket is that it's not a pure second 11 because there'll be players in that second 11 who they want to give games to who aren't necessarily second in the pecking order, if you like.
Have, for example, Tom Abel come in for an innings ahead of Tom. Just go down the Vale and have a knock for the seconds before you come back. So it's.
Yeah, and Trez played for them famously with Will Smead, didn't he?
Yeah.
And when Will was 15, Trez opened the batting with him.
Mm-hmm.
Happy days. What great things we expected of Will Smead in those days.
I get the feeling this might tip you over the edge doing this podcast. We're just opening all these old wounds. I'm really sorry.
I'm really disappointed he's given up trying to become
I know, we all are, I think.
An all-round cricketer. It's just so sad. It's such a waste.
Well, I know it's been talked about. I mean, I think obviously I don't sit inside Will Smead's head and I don't know how he thinks, but just for me, I think when you're that age, you just need to be playing as much cricket as you can in the summer. And okay, it might be going to to some outground somewhere and staying in a travel lodge for 4 days and not going out not seeing your mates or whatever, but cricket's cricket, and the more you play, the better you get. And anyway, what's done is done.
Yep.
Hopefully, it's not opened the genie is not out of the bottle for a few other players as well. But I think we might see more of it. Right, listeners' questions then. Sam Betley, update on the availability of TKC, Siddle, etc. for Warwickshire game. I presume I'm not sure who you mean by etc. there, Sam, but. Siddle's in Taunton, TKC's back.
Bancroft arrived today.
Happy days.
I was told. They're all fit and available with the exception of Abel and Banton.
Good stuff. Jacob Lunn writes, I've got a couple. Do we need an overseas for the Blast? Well, technically we've got Henry and Siddle for the Blast.
Yeah, I don't think we do. Well, that you're not going to improve that top four a lot more than I know. Obviously, you can. That sounds daft in saying
SKY or somebody, but I know what you mean, Harry. Yeah,
Banton, Smead, like TKC wants to face as many balls as possible. Abel has a T20 100, and he's going to have to bat 4. And you think Green can whack it, Overton can whack it, Van der Merwe. There's so many Lammonby. There's so many options. I don't.
Gregory still might be his career might end as a T20 finisher almost. So.
I don't really want to see another overseas bat signed. I mean, if you've got Henry and Siddle, realistically, Siddle's not going to play every single T20, but rotate around with Davey, Brooks, Siddle and Henry, and we've got very useful looking T20 side.
Are we assuming that Riley Russo is not coming back then?
Yeah, I think sadly so.
We must not have offered him because he liked a tweet of mine saying looking forward to seeing him next year. That's it. That's boom. That's signed, sealed, delivered in my book. So obviously we never picked up the phone to him. But yeah, I mean, go back to what I said earlier. TKC is effectively the overseas replacement for Riley Reeves. I know he's obviously not an overseas, but bringing him in just gives that batting order that T20 pedigree that an overseas would bring you. So why do you
not think we could do with a overseas spinner? The bowling is our weakness in T20 cricket. We haven't really with the retirement of Max Waller, we haven't got Jack Leach isn't going to play.
Van der Merwe had a quiet
South African T20 league.
T20. He didn't do much in that, did he, Gibbo? Did you forget about that?
No, he didn't. But Van der Merwe he's not exactly a mystery spinner. I mean, he bowls darts, and that's fine.
That's what you kind of need to bowl at Taunton, wasn't it? That's what Max Waller said after.
You could do with
his face with Derbyshire got carted everywhere. So you don't toss it up at Taunton, lad.
Mystery spinner. That's what we need.
It would be not. Yeah, I mean, obviously, to sort of complement the attack, I agree. It would be nice, but who? You never know. They may be looking, or they may be thinking, well, our batting is so good, we can chase whatever is in front of us.
Unfortunately, it's been proved recent years that's a well you can't keep going to. You have to have a few games where you can either defend 200 or you chase 130 occasionally. So
I think also getting the overseas for T20, you've got to think about if there's an injury, things might suddenly change. If Banton, Smeed, Abel or TKC get a serious injury in the next few weeks, month or so, then they might suddenly think, actually, we need a Riley, we need someone like that to come in. That will completely change things. We're going to get injuries in the next couple of months. I just don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, I still think the bowling looks weak for last cricket.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it has for years, to be honest with you.
But I'd say it's... I don't want to use the word samey, but we could... we've got... If you look at all our bowlers, Davey, Overton, Siddle, Henry, Gregory, they're all right arm over bowling it. I know Matt Henry's a little bit quicker, but bowling it round about the same pace. Obviously, Lammers gives you the left arm option, and then you've got...
Ben Green bowled really well last year in the T20. Sorry for Glamorgan, didn't he?
Yeah, he's
different, slower, change up. Yeah. I think he'll bowl more and more, to be honest with you. I think he's become quite a crucial player, Ben Green, in the T20 side. I think he's one of those underrated cricketers.
Yeah, definitely.
Go under the radar.
In the Collingwood mould.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Well, if Ben Green turned into a Collingwood this season, that would be a bit of a bonus, wouldn't it? I'll take
He goes home with 2 female backpackers and oh, sorry, my lawyers just told me to stop talking. Right, we have a presidential communication. Peter Wanless, who seemed to be on the radio every news bulletin I listened to today. He said, "Can you please encourage members to vote in the election of member directors onto the Somerset board? There are 3 places up for grabs." I think there was something about that in your members' email, so do have a look at that. I haven't had a chance to click on it and see who the candidates are, but from what I gather, it's going to be me, Tractor, and one other. Maybe not. Okay. Right, there's my... next up is my Cameron Bancroft joke about being cute, which is going to be my one for the season. Mike Owens, will Somerset win the second 11 championship this year? Yes, definitely. Chris Payne says, in the limited pre-season game times, have been any clues as to what the new look batting lineup will be? Go back to your sort of left point.
Not in the pre-season games.
No, yeah, in the 1.1 sort of half a game and 30 overs we got in against the students. Probably not. I mean, I suppose Chris is kind of inferring is did anybody really put their hand up and make a case? I suppose you could say only really Steve Davis. Maybe look to upset the apple cart of what we all think is going to be the top 6 or 7 on come Thursday. But yeah, just
mentioning Mike Unwin. Anyone going to the game on Thursday or any other home games, make a point of going to the Somerset Cricket Museum, which is bigger and smarter and more interesting than ever. It really is. It's absolutely superb now, thanks not least to what Mike has done.
I think he's also looking for more volunteers. He's put a thing on social media and the website. If anyone can get involved, you've got skills that might help him. Good old Mike needs a bit of help with his technology sometimes. Anyone who can offer some time to help him out would be much appreciated.
And a great website as well, the Somerset Cricket Museum website.
A lot of work on that website.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with Mike, he's on Twitter at... I need to make my screen a bit bigger. What does that say? Mike UMBA. Mike. I presume is that he's Mike U with a master's degree? Is that right? Is that an MBA?
Masters in Business Administration.
There we go. Mike Unwin, Masters in Business Administration. Unless it doesn't
If
mean
not,
that.
we granted him an honorary one at the University of the Trescothick County Ground.
Or we've just massively overqualified Mike, and all of a sudden he's got to get all these job offers flying in, which he's ridiculously unqualified for. But yeah, could let us know, Mike, what the MBA stands for. Andy Cleve, how is the outfit got to be fit for play come Thursday? Fingers crossed, Andy. Club seem confident, so I'll have to take their word for it. Yeah, I think it'll be what it'll be.
Can we just pause there and have a minute for Andy? Because much as I have no affiliation towards his football club, his dedication and the hours that he's travelled to all parts of the country and then come away disappointed. I've sort of almost lived a football season vicariously through his occasional ups and massive downs. So thank you, Andy, for all of that. And I do feel your pain, but I do hope you're playing Taunton Town in the league next season.
Does that mean Yeovil are getting relegated or promoted, or I don't follow lower league?
Well, it means that Taunton have to stay up, which isn't a given at the moment. Although
they should be all right.
They should be okay.
A few games in hand.
But at Yeovil are where everyone else at the bottom of the conference seems to be winning at the moment, like Gateshead and Torquay and all those sides. Yeovil aren't, and they lost at home on the telly on Saturday night. So I think it's a bit grim at Hewish Park at the moment. So hopefully, Andy, your cricket team will give you joy and victories unbounded all summer and erase the memories of a miserable winter.
I did the cricket draft for the first time. I haven't done a fantasy competition since I was at school.
I'm struggling with mine. Even as we speak, I'm thinking about it and trying to work out, and I can't decide who to go with.
I just bought a load of really good players and then just filled my squad with whoever I could afford afterwards.
I always end up picking too many Somerset players.
I don't know why anybody's interested. But my team are this. You'll be happy with this, Steve. Who's my opener?
Go on.
Who's my opener? Make you happy?
Lammers.
Go on.
No. Jake Libby.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've gone Jake Libby, I've gone Haynes, Villas, Jennings, Craig Overton, Nisa, Abbott, Rue, Scrimshaw, Podmore and Moriarty. I've no idea what I'm doing with these fantasy teams, but I just picked.
Is Moriarty going to play?
I don't know. I don't really care. I don't care. I had 5 minutes. People said, do fantasy leagues. I'm like, right, I've got to do one. I don't care. That's what it is. So I'm not going to spend... Come August, I'll be up till like 3 a.m. going, oh yeah, but he's got a 3.01 economy rate playing away from home when they bowl first, but then, he's got this and he's got that. So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of becoming obsessed with my fantasy team.
You join a league and then you get stick for doing rubbish league, but when you said you've not even been making the effort with it and you can leave it anyway. You can't win.
I think that's a lot better for me. I don't care. And I've come bottom is a lot better than I've tried really hard and come bottom. And what's even better is I don't care and somehow I've won it. So I think that was it for listeners' questions. Did anybody remember any more? FW 1901 1994. Not quite sure who you are, but you said Rue is the most selected player. Is he guaranteed to take the gloves? I think he is.
Yes.
Almost, I think.
Yeah.
Almost.
Right. I think I've exhausted my potted agenda for tonight, which is always just a load of scribbles on.
That's in record time, isn't it?
On a note.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have my tea on time tonight, guys.
Where do we think Somerset are going to finish in the county championship?
Well, one of my friends texted me the betting for the Division 1 of the county championship. Thank you very much for that, Q. So we've got. While we're giving shout outs to friends, happy birthday, Spice, 44 today. Right, here we go.
I went third, I think, in my preview.
So Surrey are 130, Hampshire 4-1. This is from Bet365. Essex 5-1, Lancashire 5-1, which I think is a fantastic value each way bet because a lot of people are tipping them to win it. So each way is quarter of the odds, so you'll get your money back and a little bit more on an each way bet with Lancashire. Notts are 8-1. Somerset 12s, Warwickshire 14, Kent 16, Middlesex 20, and Northants are 25-1. I wouldn't have Northants at 25-1. I'd have them more like 100 or 150 to 1.
I will stick my neck out and say I think par for us this season is finishing 4th.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I'd be very happy if we finished 4th. Very happy. I think those odds have just about got it about right, actually. Although Middlesex, they did well last season. They're a good side, and they may surprise a few people. Notts as well. It's going to be
this time of the year. It's always a sort of if this happens and that happens, doesn't it? If Bancroft was to have a good 4 games and Gregory stays fit all season and Rue continues his development and you add in about 3 more ifs.
Yeah,
then I mean,
it's difficult.
But then you flip the ifs the other way, and it can look pretty horrible. So,
I think Gregory's fitness is
absolutely. That's the main thing.
If Gregory can get back to his bowling form of 2019, I think we could be challenging.
Yeah, I think that's a big if.
If he bowls like he did last year, it's hard to see us.
You could say the same, Anthony, if we get the 2021 Josh Davey in 2023, that will make a big difference because we definitely didn't have that last year.
I'll be honest, I think Josh Davies more like to be fit. I'm worried about Lewis Gregory. We all know how great he is. We all love him, but I'm worried that Tom Abel's going to end up bowling more than Gregory. Lammonby might even bowl more than Gregory this year. I mean, he's a good enough, arguably he's a good enough bat, but would you pick him ahead of Bartlett if he can't bowl? That's a different debate. But
I mean, I know it's a really small sample size, but he looked pretty good in the Glamorgan game, I thought. He didn't look like he was in any sort of discomfort or anything, but I think the key is managing that workload of his and, being really...
What we've got to do, Shep, is at this stage of the season, we've always got to look on the bright side of life.
Oh, very good, Steve. Why does that ring a bell? I mean, talking about you can live your life in the land of ifs and buts, but I think for me it is to get in the hunt early and not lose the first 3 games. I know it sounds like a really simplistic thing to say, but we were dead and buried after the first 3 games last year, and a relegation dogfight was the most excitement we could look forward to in September. And with the best will in the world, it's very difficult to come back from that. That's for me the key is hit the ground running.
Get a bit of momentum these first couple of games, and you don't know what could happen. But
absolutely, get yourself on a roll and touch wood. I think we've got everything in place to be able to do that.
Yep.
So not always look on the bright side of life. Be confident. It's coming home.
Yeah.
Well, not coming home because it's never been to Taunton, but you know what I mean. One last thing. Keep an eye on the Bright Side Live Twitter account. The Somerset testimonial game we're organising for Max Waller down at my club, South Devon. That's on the 15th of June. We had a few little protracted discussions. People have been away, but we've got everything sorted now with... excuse me, what's going on with sort of the pre-match lunch and the marquees and everything like that. So that's going to be all released to the public very, very soon in the next couple of days. So if you do want to come along to that, keep an eye on our Twitter feed and southdevonCC.co.uk for information on that. Gents, you're all welcome.
Can I get a game, Shep?
Can I get a game? Who for?
I don't know, either or. I'm fussy. I've never played at your club. It's one of my... I've got a ticket off the Devon bucket list of grounds I've not played at.
You have to pay for your own shirt, but I'm sure we can arrange something, Harry.
Yeah, get me and Waller.
Having said that, you've probably got a better chat because it's Thursday, 15th of June is the day between... it's a blast game at home. I think it's against Surrey, but I might be wrong, on the 16th, and then they come back from Essex the day before. So you might be at Gib. All right, I'm getting to the point, Anthony. You don't have to yawn in such a theatrical manner. It's like stretching his arms out. God dear.
I'm looking forward to my supper.
All right, okay.
So am I.
Steak and chips again?
No, we've got casserole, beef casserole.
I eat mine before I come on these things. I know they're going to go on.
Well, we've not even done an hour yet. We budget an hour, Harry. It was only because somebody was late that we've run over. But anyway, right. southdevonCC.co.uk for details about the Max Waller testimonial game. Any other business? I'm going to guess it's a no because 2 of us look very hungry. and grumpy. Right. Next Monday, work for everyone?
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
See you all next week, guys.
See you then.
Cheers everyone.
Cheers. See you, everyone.